yogis. So we've got a nice little lesson plan for approaching the summer solstice. A little bit of a reset, a theme of purity, like Krishna consciousness, pushing through the muddied water and growing into beauty. So we're starting in pose of devotion, big toes together, knees together all wide, and you can have a block under your bottom for that. You might also have a block under your forehead. Arms extend. So just going to take about 4 breaths here. Extending, breathing in, breathing out. So really let your tummy be free here. You stay down in the pose. Let your breath out. Let your tummy expand. Come into your true self. Brilliant. And we're going to move forwards into up dog. So you come forwards, the first pose you get to is up dog. Arms are straight, hips are off the mat. This might be too much. You can soften the elbows and be in king cobra or even baby cobra. And each of those poses can be done in the forearms if you'd prefer. So we're breathing in, breathing out. One more breath there. Taking hands slightly wider, tuck toes, hover knees, breathe in. This preps downward dog. Breathe out, swing up to downward dog. So pushing the chest down, lifting the bottom. If this is too much, make it cat instead, and we can get extension and flexion with an in-breath and an out-breath. So we're just mobilizing at the minute, just warming up, so we're not staying in these poses too long right now. So we're going to walk out of downward dog and come into a low squat. So we've got heels turning in, toes turning out. You can make this easier with a brick under your bottom, like that. You can even sit down, sit your bottom down, or you can be in a half squat like this. It's going to take about 4 breaths. If you are quite practiced at your hand balances and you're in, sorry, I'm really dehydrated, so I keep licking my lips. Sorry, I need some water. If you are, practice at hand balances and you're in your low squat, bottom lifted, you might find that, and this is just if you're quite practiced, not if you're not, because you won't be warm enough and you could cause an injury. So to those of you that are practicing yoga a lot, you might go from your low squat into your Gomukasana. So you've got your hands down, elbows to knees, knees to elbows. Just extend through the spine a bit, look ahead. That's it. Lovely. And then back in to that low squat again. So it's just a nice opportunity for a hand balance if that's in your practice. Okay, perfect. We're going to come into Uttanasana now. So that's hips coming over the heels, folding over the legs with the tummy in the chest, crown down. You might be doing Uttanasana with knees bent. You might be taking feet a bit wider. You might have your hands on your thighs or your shins, it's up to you. And any dizziness, look ahead. So we're lifting the chest and coming up to half Uttanasana. So we're making the spine like a tabletop, extended, the back's like a tabletop, looking ahead. This is Ardha Uttanasana, half Uttanasana. And we're going to lift all of that up into extended and move back so you can see. Extended Tadasana, breathe in. Big stretch, breathe out. So I'm just moving back off the mat so you can see. We're going to take a tree pose. We're going to rest on the right foot. Toes can be to the mat, below the knee or above the knee. So we've got a nice tree pose, hands at heart center. Take about 6 breaths. Expanding the chest. Send this left leg back with the heel lifted. So it's a a lifted lunge, arms wide or overhead, leaning back. About 6 breaths. Just turning those toes out slightly, pushing the heel down. Warrior 2. Look right. We've got this knee step over the ankle. It's not ahead of it. It's not behind it. 6 breaths. We're going to utilize a brick here if we need it. Straightening the leg. Breathe in, reach up. Breathe out, lower. So that hand might come down to the ankle, the big toe, peace sign around the big toe. Or it might be on the brick or to the floor. Top hand is hip or sky. And we look ahead or we look up beyond the shoulder or to the hand. Trikonasana. So we're elongating this right leg as much as we can. We're anchored down with this left foot pushed away. And we're creating openness and space in the body. We're bringing it back to a warrior 2. Just momentarily, take a breath. And then we want to bring this right hand about a brick's distance from the foot. It can come to the brick or it might come to the floor. Top hand hip or sky. We might stay here. We might try to lift this left leg. You might stop halfway. We're going to try to hold it for about 6 to 8 breaths. So we're really getting that strength. Pushing the top hip back a bit. This is Ardha Chadrasana, half moon. I'm going to bring it into Uttanasana now. I'm just going to come back towards the camera a little bit. Back to Uttanasana. And you might go a bit deeper in your Uttanasana now, a bit more folded, a bit lower maybe. Breathe in, lift the chest, float up, extended mountain. And breathe out, mountain. Okay, so we're going to do all of that on the opposite side. So you've got your brick or your roll jumper or whatever at the ready. Could be a couple of books. And we're going to do it on the opposite side. So we're going to stand on the left leg now and lift. I'm going to come back to that position and lift the right. Here, here, or here. Tree pose. For this tree, you might like to take it higher, high branches or join. Expand the chest, contract the shoulder blades. And you might like to check in with your inner light, your inner peace. And extend that right leg back. So the heel is lifted, just like on the other side. For a low lunge, the knee set just ahead of the ankle there. Arms wide or overhead. About 6 breaths. We've got a nice back bend there. Come this way now so you can see. And then coming into warrior 2. So we're simply pushing that right heel away, keeping that left knee over the ankle, arms wide, tummy and chest are facing. For you, it'll be the long edge of your mat. I've just moved so you can see me and look left. So warriors are really good for preparing the body, preparing the mind. I'm going to get my brick ready now. I'm going to lengthen the left knee, breathe in, reach up, breathe out, lower. So it's wherever this left hand naturally falls. Top hand, hip or sky. And so yeah, it could be to the floor, to the big toe, but to the brick. But what you don't want is to lose the openness of the chest. Often people get all the way down and that's great, and then the chest is closed. We want to keep that openness, and if that means using a brick, then that's better. That's a better way of being in the pose. Looking ahead or looking up, even if that top hand's on the hip, you can look beyond the shoulder. Bring space into the body. We're going to momentarily come back to warrior pose. Catch your breath. And then this left hand is going to go a brick's distance, or you could think a foot's distance ahead of the foot. You might use a brick, you might not. You're starting to come into the pose, so I've come into my big toe of my right foot. You might stay here, or you might start to lift that up. You might stop halfway, or quarter of the way. You're looking into the room, and if you're quite right-angled with it and you're quite happy, you might push your top hip back a bit. Open out the pose a little bit more. Half moon, Ardha Chadrasana. Bringing it back to Uttanasana, so I'm going to come a little closer again. And this is our final Uttanasana, so you might actually go a little deeper again. So you might fold more over the legs, come lower, you might stand on your hands, head heavy. If you feel any dizziness, glance ahead instead, but we really want to get that length into the back of the legs. Okay, breathe in, lift the chest, float up, extended mountain, big stretch. And then mountain. Excellent. Now we're coming into warrior goddess pose. So you want to be wide on your mat. Wide, so you've got hip distance, you've got a bit wider, you want to be wider again than that. Alright, and I'm going to get a block and a brick handy, ready for the next pose. It might be books, it might be hoodies. So quite wide. Toes turn in a bit, heels turn in a bit, toes turn out a bit. Set the knees just on top of the ankles, again, not in front of them, not behind them. You're sending the bottom back, it's not graceful at all. You're sending the bottom back. Sitting down low into it, hands heart center. Warrior goddess. Good for men as well, bone density in the ankles and the feet. Strength of the knees and the surrounding muscles. Strength in the hamstrings and the glutes. Hold your tummy tight, it's a strong one. It's a really strong one. I'd say about up to 12 breaths for this to really get that strength. So when you're ready to come out, the toes turn in a bit and the heels push out a bit. Ready for wide leg forward fold. So if you've got any props, they're going to go just in front there. Hands on hips, breathe in length from belly button to sternum. Breathe out, fold and stop halfway. So you want to stop like a tabletop again. We're not looking ahead, we're not dropping the head. We're literally looking down. The head is aligned. The weight is coming into the toes. So we don't want to sink into the heels. We want to tip it forwards. We're trying to get strength across the mid-back, mid-thoracic. Then we're going to release, bring the hands down. And this all now depends on what you want, the length in the back of your legs, the flexibility in your spine. You might have this kind of setup and your head on here. You might have more bricks and blocks. So you want to bring your forehead down a little bit. Some of you will have it dangling and that's fine. Your fingers face forwards, your elbows face back, and we widen the shoulder blades. Keeping the weight in the toes. So we're just seeing how this feels. if any of you, and you can stay right here, if any of you want to go further, you can go a bit wider to allow you to get lower. Okay, sorry. Okay, I don't want to rest on his hip. Okay. Widen the shoulder blades. So it's a really good pose for vitality. Some of you might want to fold it more, bring it closer, bring it back, but keep the weight in the toes. You don't want to let it sink into the heels, you want the length in the back of the legs. So you're in a good position to go into a head balance now. And that could be the likes of dolphin, or it could be a headstand. That's why I got this in front. Because you've got your hips high, you've got everything aligned, you're in the perfect position. So for headstand, tripod, you've got that tripod base. You've got the head down, you've got the hands down, just walk the feet in, send one leg up. Here we go. And you're in your headstand. Squeeze the elbows together or towards each other. You're also in a perfect position for maybe just coming back into that Gomukasana again. Or coming into your mushroom, finding your triceps with your knees. And up you go. Those may not be for you. And you may, from this position, bring a hand down. Breathe in, bring another arm up, a nice twist. Breathe out, breathe in. You could do as many of those as you want. So, well done. We're going to come into another cobra or an up dog now. Breathing in, breathing out. So if we've flexed the spine, it's always good to go into a little bit of a back bend so we're keeping balance, basically. The next pose is Virasana, kneeling. So it can just be, I don't mean that is easy, but it can be this. Many people don't like kneeling, and that is fine, and it can be this instead, knees wide, hips forwards, so at least lengthening the hip flexors. The feet, the bony bits of the feet can be affected in a kneeling pose. The easiest way, really, you might have a blanket. The easiest way is rolling the back of your mat, and that gives you padding for the tops of your feet. So this can be Virasana right here, kneeling. If you're wanting a little bit more, the knees stay together, but the calves apart. Brick, hoodie, whatever it is, under there. Obviously you're not going to turn. You've got that padding on your mat. I'm just turning so you can see. Hands on your thighs. Some of you want a bit more. We want to feel a bit of something here and in the knees. Take it away. Hands on thighs, breathe in, lengthen. Breathe out, we're looking down the bridge of the nose, or you might just like to close your eyes. So Virasana is really good for the nervous system, for calming the nervous system. It interprets as hero pose. So you might like to check in with your inner hero or heroine and feel self-assured. About 8 breaths. If you need to come out sooner, that's absolutely fine. And you will find that perhaps your knees are lamenting a little bit and they're saying, what are you doing? And then your glutes might tighten because it's not feeling, they're trying to protect areas So try to settle in, try and relax into it, try not to tighten up. Okay, one of the last poses now is Gomukasana, cow face pose. So Virasana has got us ready for that. We want Gomukasana because we want to stretch the side hamstrings and the hamstrings which we've strengthened during half moon pose, that one there. All right, so let's start with the left. Let's not always start with the right. Because if we always start with the right, which tends to be the case, then usually we find that actually a lot of people are dominant on the right, so it's tighter. But actually you're more practiced in the pose by the time you get to the left. So if it's a stretch, then the left ends up better stretched. If it's a strengthening pose, then it ends up a little bit more strengthened. So mix it up a bit. Don't always start with the right. Sometimes start with the left. So let's bring the left over. We're stacking the knees. So we've got the right foot behind, and that needs to come forwards. I imagine it like a mermaid's tail flopping forwards. Here it is. Now we need to sit down, avoiding sitting on a heel. This right glute is going to be lower than the left. So our hips are out of alignment. Something not too high going under will align the hips. So a block or a rolled blanket, maybe slightly rolled. Bringing this foot further forwards again. So it's meant to be like the ears of a cow. So my left knee's high, so I'm going to bring my right elbow here and reach my left hand behind. If I can't make that gap, I can't grasp, here we go. Chuck this over and grasp the belt with as short a distance as possible, because you do want a bind. Breathe in, lift the chin. Breathe out, bring head to knee. About 6 to 8 breaths. Come out sooner if you need to. It's a strong, strong stretch. You might find some time in the stretch like this. Let's unravel out. It's really good for that sciatic zone. It's really good for, it's similar to pigeon in what it offers you, possibly a bit more intense than pigeon for some of you. So let's bring the right over now. Let's stack the knees. Let's bring this side of the mermaid's tail forwards with a nice slap on the wet sand. Let's sit down, and this time this glute is lower. Look, I'm a bit out of alignment. Pop something not too thick under. It comes right into my lower back and hips. You might find the same. We can be here, or we can do the full Gomukasana. So right knee's on top, so we want the left hand. You can bind with your belt. Breathe in, lift the chin. Breathe out, head to knee. The tighter the bind, the better the release in the back. Okay. And easing out. Ouch. And that's me saying it. It's a strong one. Coming into cat and just doing whatever feels good in cat, just to make a little bit of space, just to, if you think about when you release something in a joint or a muscle, where is it then? It's not gone. It's like when you have a massage and they say drink water. That tension, that release, and some of it is a substance, toxic substance that's released, needs to go somewhere. So we need to move. We need to allow that dissipation, if you like, of tension. So whatever you want, I'm doing just some little pelvic circles here, breathing in as I go forwards, breathing out as I go back. Some of you might move forwards and back. You might come into your up dog. You might come back into your devotion. but let that tightness out of the body as best you can. Wiggle into your poses. Release, release, release. The final thing we need is a little bit of back bend again, because if you think about the position we've just been in Gomukasana, yes, we've gone back into Cobra and stuff before that. So the final pose is Ustrasana, camel. All strong poses today, but it's been a bit of a purge, as I say, getting ready for the summer solstice, and bringing that purity. So as I think I said in the beginning, the lotus flower. Got lotus flowers all over my mat, pushes through the mud. I've got it on my leg, actually. There we go, with Joe's name in there, hope you can see. So the lotus flower is coming through, and it's just, and we've got the Bodhisattva flower here. So Buddha was meant to spend many, many days in the desert before reaching enlightenment. So camel pose. Camel pose, knees are wide. Toes can be tucked under. We're reaching for the heels. So if the toes are tucked under, we're not really leaning back quite as far. So that's one option. So with the knees wide, just tentatively, if you're not familiar with camel, are you anywhere near your heels? Do you need to tuck them under? Is it still comfortable? Are you collapsing at the hips? This is what you see a lot in camel. And this is not giving you a back bend. It's got to be forwards. This has got to be kept forwards to give you the back bend. So better to be propped up and having a back bend than to reach the heels without a prop and not actually have a back bend. So block, your toes can go the width of the block, but your knees are still wide. So your toes are probably a little bit less wide than your knees. You don't want to close your knees in, because then it's not as open. So you can still have toes tucked under on the block, and then you're super gap bridged between your hands and the floor and the heels, or you can do this. Just see what feels good. So see what you need. And as I say, it's hips staying forwards. It's really handy if you've got someone at home that can keep your hips forwards for you. And that really adds a really strong dimension to this pose. So you might limber in. This is good. Halfway breathing, breathe out, breathe in. And you might stay with limbering as well. If you find that you're having to collapse to reach your heels, better to stay with limbering and get a bit of a back bend than try and do full camel and not get the back bend. So when you go back, try and let your jaw fall back and open. So getting a bit of that fish element, we're getting into the throat chakra, we're getting into the trachea. So you want to stay there for a decent amount of time. Let's say 4 to 10 breaths for that. After that, I'm just inviting you to lie on the mat and just tune in with your body. Where does your body want to go next? Often now we'd go into a knees to chest, a knees to armpits, a shoulder stand, a plow, and then relax. You've done a lot. Don't overdo it. Where do you feel you need to go now? What is your body telling you? Tune in. It's a long video, so I'm going to leave you there now. I just want you to tune into your body and where it needs to go, and then tune into your energy. So where do you feel your energy is? Do you feel your energy is needing to rest? Do you feel your energy is needing to go into motivation and intensity? Or do you feel like you've got a calm clarity? These are the gunas, and I should probably do that in a separate video, but the gunas help us to check in with where our energy is in terms of energy that we've got to give, and also in terms of the emotions that might be feeding into our energy. So just tune in a little bit with that. You might know the gunas already, or this might be just a little introduction to the gunas, but just assessing where your energy is naturally, but almost where you need it to be. And it's finding a balance between the two. So you might be really tired and in restful energy, but you might need to go to work. So you might need to rally yourself a little bit. And when we talk a little bit more about the gunas, it'll help us to be able to know our energy, to respect it, and to also cultivate bit of an energy shift that might be needed. So Om Shanti, which means peace. Well done. Thank you for joining in. Any questions, please pop them over, and keep practicing. Bye-bye.